Are you on Granicus?
No, I just got a hard copy.
Oh, okay. Do you have any, submit any changes? Thank you very much.
No, I'm good with the agenda.
Okay.
A motion to approve?
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, awesome. In the business committee today is the approval of the minutes from our last regular meeting, which was
Gosh, when was that? Oh, when
11/18/19.
Yeah.
And it just almost consisted of reappointments.
Right. Okay. Yeah. I motion that we approve the minutes of the last meeting.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And next item on the agenda is a presentation by Bridget McLaughlin. And you guys can join us at the front table. And you feel free to turn on the mics with just by tapping the little button right there. Okay. Awesome. So I guess kind of what we were hoping to get an understanding of, and I think the timing is perfect. Since last night we had the gun violence meeting, and we just were talking about what recreational opportunities we can use over the course of the next year, what programs we can use over the course of the next year to try to provide those services to help reduce crime. We talked a lot about moving away from the method of policing and arresting and more providing assistance to the underlying issues, poverty, lack of jobs, educational resources. So I think that it'd be great if we as a city could create a partnership with HACA, just working with and through these programs. And just thinking outside of the box and kind of putting some ideas together for our youth. So I guess the first question that I know that I would have, and I've been thinking about it all week, is would HACA be open to potentially extending the rec hours for the two properties now that will carry most of our residents in Ward 6, Robinwood and Eastport Terrace and Harbor House, for weekend hours, to, kind of give our children the option to participate in some activity or just use the facility as an escape from home or from wherever they are for the weekends. Is that something that could be potentially considered?
Can you hear me?
Is the green light on?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you guys hear me? I don't even know if I need.
Oh no, here.
There it
Okay,
is.
there we go. Perfect.
So would you be talking about for now or the summer?
Yeah, so I guess realistically, the best start would be the summertime as we wind down in the school year.
Mm-hmm.
You need to, we tape, so you need to introduce yourself.
I'm sorry.
That's my fault.
Good afternoon. This is Bridget McLaughlin, Director of Resident Services at the Housing Authority of the City of Annapolis.
And I'm Mary Ellen Turner, and I have been with the Resident Opportunity for Self-Sufficiency grant. That grant is ending shortly. We hope to have it renewed. I'm also transitioning into case management, and I am also currently working as a relocation specialist.
On Newtown? Yes. Wow, that's great.
My name is Sarah Clark Akinrede. I am the curriculum specialist, also case management with Mary Helen. I'm working on the Newtown presently. I'm so sorry. Relocation presently.
So, is it okay? I can answer
Yeah,
now.
sorry about
We could potentially look into that. I think one of the things we need to probably talk about in-house would be staff-wise, because we would have to have staff there. And usually the rec is not even open on the weekends.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so because I know that obviously funding would present itself as an issue at some point. Roughly, could you just, how much does it cost to run that facility or that center for like an after-school program or something like that we could model for a summer program?
So we do have a summer camp program, and that runs from the last week of June until I think the third week of August, and it's from 8 a.m. until 4 p.m. And then children go home after that. In that program, we have all of our staff working that program. And so they're considered full-time during those hours. And so typically the rec closes after 4 p.m. So if we're talking about extending the hours, then that would be overtime for the staff.
Do they have a set salary amount already or set wage amount already?
So we have salaried staff and we also have hourly staff.
Okay.
The hourly staff would be 40 hours a week in the summer because they're working 8 to 4. So potentially, if we're talking about keeping it open till what, 8 o'clock?
Yeah, something 8, 7, 8, yeah.
Where are the camps?
So the camps are going to run out of Robinwood Rec as well as Harbor House Eastport Terrace.
And the Department of Parks and Recs doesn't?
No.
No.
HACA camp.
No, I know it's all HACA. I just didn't know if they assisted in any way. I'm trying to get a handle on how our Department of
Could jump in.
Parks and Recs could jump in. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, everything is HACA run for that.
Mm-hmm.
And for the salary, for the wage, I'm sorry, what was that? I just wanted to be able to.
Ballpark figure, because everybody's not at the same salary, maybe 17, 18 an hour is what I think some of them make.
Yeah, just.
And that's on the lower end.
And so we've had discussion with the Boys and Girls Club, and I know that we're already in talks about putting some funding aside in this upcoming budget so that we can assure that the building is equipped to the necessary standards to meet our city code, just in case they potentially wanted to bring the programming to the Eastport Rec and Community Center. Is that something that HACA would be in support of, or?
No. We've already had that discussion with them.
Is there a particular reason why HACA is
Well,
not in
because
support
we
of it?
have our own after-school program. We've totally restructured the program this year. We have a core curriculum, which Sarah is here to present, and we're giving our children probably close to what the Boys and Girls Club could offer them. In addition, we are not interested because all of our staff, what would happen to our staff? They'd lose their jobs.
And with the, with the issues that HACA has in terms of funding, would it be in the best interest of the organization to cut this program and lend it to a private organization or public organization that is capable of handling it, and that those funds and resources can be put to better use, maybe management or maintenance practices?
That is not something that we feel would be something that we would want to do right now, particularly with the relocation. It's just not a really good time to bring in an entirely new organization, new staff. And it's my understanding that when Boys and Girls Club approached HACA in the past about this, the board turned it down. So it doesn't seem like something that the administration or the board wants.
And as it currently operates, can a child, if I'm at Bloomsbury Square, would I be able to attend summer camp at Eastport Terrace or Harbor House?
Absolutely.
Okay.
In fact, our camp is not exclusive to only HACA residents. We accept other children from the community.
And do they pay a fee for that if they are not?
Yes, they do. And the HACA children also pay a fee.
Was it a large fee?
I would not say it's large.
Yeah,
no.
okay. I figured I just...
Can I add, in the past few years, our great Harbor House Eastport Terrace Resident Council, as part of their program, has offered some scholarships for the children to summer camp in their budget. So that's a nice add-on service that they've offered.
That's great.
Yes, they've sponsored some children, so.
Just to set the tone on why my colleague's asking this question is basically the message we got last night from Melissa is that you're not in it alone. The city should assist you in whatever way we can, and we're just asking some exploratory questions.
Oh yeah, no, it's fine. It's fine. We actually met with Boys and Girls Club maybe 2 months ago.
Okay.
And they talked about what they could offer, but then at the same time, we have a lot to offer as well too at this point.
So if they could roll over the staff and essentially save HACA $130,000 a year or something like that, I'm just throwing that rough number out there.
When you say roll over the staff, what do you mean? Because they have volunteers as their staff.
Yeah, if they have volunteers and hired staff and junior staff, which I think would be great for HACA because it would allow our youth to get engaged in employment opportunities at an early age and not have to go through third-party employment programs that they often cannot rely on because of transportation and things like that. So a rollover in terms of if they were to hire the staff that you currently have and added it to their pay roster to save the...
what are they really going to be saving? Well, because...
Well, I think it's more of the organization, as in HACA now saves the financing that we were putting towards, that you guys were putting towards recreational activities.
Well, I mean... that's not really something that I can answer solely on my own. I mean, and you're talking about 10 staff that they would have to cover with the current salaries that they're making. And, I don't know if their budget can stand that. I've seen their budget.
Is that the size of your current staff?
It is.
For all properties or just for those 2 properties?
For resident services. Okay. And then we also hire additional staff in the summertime for the camp program. Go ahead.
I would like to say that I know the Boys and Girls Club has great things to offer, but one of the things I know about the club is they do not give as much one-on-one attention to children as we give presently. Now, the kids who come to us come with different needs, and we try to meet them where they're at, not forgetting that we want to breach the gap that currently exists with the children in terms of reading, math, and all the other strategies that they need to have. When they come to us, we give them that attention one-on-one that they actually really need. The Boys and Girls Club, yes, has children who go there and they have activities that the children can partake in. They have their homework time and then they go on to do other things. But we do not just focus on helping them with the homework. We look at them where they're at, what their needs are at. They bring this homework to us. We help them understand the homework, but we go beyond that to try to meet a child who's not reading at grade level. How can we build this child such that the child is better off going back to school tomorrow? And that's what we do. Staff at the after-school program back in HACA, we work with the children individually. We do not consider 10 children the same. We look at every child differently and try to see what each child needs to succeed. And if we try to incorporate that program into the Boys and Girls Club, I believe the children at those communities will lose that opportunity that they presently have with the curriculum and the system we run at the after-school program.
What would you say your ratio is approximately? How many kids would
So
work?
presently, I would say that on the days where we have the children, because we also have volunteers who come in to work with us, sometimes we do have one-on-one, working with them reading and math.
But on an everyday basis.
Not an everyday
About-
basis, yes. On Mondays and Wednesdays, we definitely have one-on-one with every child. And we have one-on-one when they go up to the library to read. We have one-on-one with their homework. We have one-on-one with the areas. We have pinpointed from their reports coming from school that they need to work on. And we have those conversations with them. So how do you think we can help you? Which the Boys and Girls Club would not do because they have children that is so many. They cannot touch bases with the children.
Somewhat related, Mary Ellen, you mentioned that scholarship, is that specifically for the camp?
That I have known for summer camp,
That's
because there
for
is a
summer camp.
charge, right? There is a small charge.
It's a very small
It's a very
charge,
small
yeah.
charge,
Yeah.
they call it scholarship, but they have paid for some children who otherwise
Yeah,
perhaps couldn't afford, because some people have 2 or 3 children eligible for,
Yeah.
and it would be a little more of a burden. But in the past, in addition to many other things like school backpack giveaways, all kinds of things, they have helped with some scholarships. I'm going to go out on a limb and say a couple years ago, I thought I heard 10 scholarships, but I'm not quite sure of that number. But I think they've done it every year recently, helped. One thing that goes through,
Go ahead, Kiss.
one thing that goes through my mind, I'm just throwing this out there as, is it possible in the summer with the youth services staff working from 8 to 4 all day, in summer camp, is it possible if you wanted to keep it open and agreed with Hackett to keep the centers open, let's say 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock in the evening, is it possible that the Boys and Girls Club could come in during that time?
No,
No?
because they would want to take over. They want to take over the program.
Oh, they want to have the entire program.
Yes.
okay. And the
You know
after-
that to be true also?
I do know it to be true. Yeah.
You do know that to be true. So they're not interested in a little piece of evening. Okay, all right.
I think the issues that we have is, and we talked about last night, is that we're at this point now where we have, everybody now moving to the lower half of the Eastport area or within that area. So you have Robinwood, Eastport Terrace, Harbor House, Bay Ridge Gardens. Just between those 3 communities alone, even though Bay Ridge Gardens is not included in HACA, just between those 3 communities alone, you're talking about upwards of 500 kids. And Bay Ridge Gardens alone, 350 kids. And then now there is this need to serve a large portion of our elementary school kids, and we're trying to find a facility that would allow us to do that for all of our students and our kids. But I think this is a conversation that can go on for months in terms of obviously the funding that would have to go behind it, the construction and resources that we as a city would provide to, again, as I say, get the building up to code so that children could be in, because the Boys and Girls Club has, for some reason, higher requirements for coding than it is already fitted for. So just a number of things that would have to go into that. But you did mention that you guys had new academic programs.
We do, yeah. Sarah can explain exactly what we're doing with the children besides homework.
And this is at no cost, correct?
This is at no cost, correct?
Yeah. Thanks, Sarah.
Can you talk about that?
Yes, so we look at the core standards that the curriculum expects the children to succeed in, which is math, reading, language arts, science, and related arts. And we try to see what the expectations are on core standards that the children deal with at school, and we break that up back at the center. Now, when they come to us, we have encouraged them to bring report cards when we can see them and try to see what the struggles are at school. So say, for instance, XYZ has, they're presently studying decimals at school, and they're going to be doing that for the next 6 weeks. But XYZ do not understand how to add, subtract, multiply, or divide. And that is a process that they need to understand for them to understand how to work on decimals. So we go back and we try to build those standards that most of them do not have, so they can catch up with what is going on presently with what they're currently studying for that semester or that period of time. Apart from looking at core standards and working with them on that to develop those core areas from school, we also work with them, like I said, one-on-one reading. We try to build those up. A lot of those students who come to us are not reading at grade level. And this we know for sure because when I started, I tested I did running reading tests for these children, and a lot of them are reading below grade level. Now, we work with these children one-on-one to try to bring them up to the level they should be reading at the grade where they are currently in.
Well,
Go
sorry.
ahead. No, go ahead.
Yeah, I know that what am I? I'm on call as a volunteer for Stair. And I know they're at Robinwood. How do you interface with,
Yes.
know that exists, that program, and they're referred by the school. I was just wondering if you see a child at that age that should be in Stair, do you coordinate it all or just interface
So we
with
have a
them at
lot
all?
of children who come to us also go to Stair.
Yeah.
Yes, some of
Okay.
them who qualify to go to Stair, as
Yeah.
we know the school recommends the children who go to Stair.
So you know
and-
who they are, yeah.
Yes,
So
we
you-
know who they are, and we still work with them.
Sure.
On
Yeah.
days that they're not there, they're with
Yeah.
us, and we're trying to keep the standards as high as we can to
Yeah.
help the children. So
Yeah, it's funny because when they leave with their book that we might give them, I'm like, who's
And
who's
it's
gonna read
such a
that?
critical program.
Yeah.
And I, in fact, was supposed to meet with the executive director today, but she was ill, to see how we as a city can get behind that program
Yeah.
any further in terms of, oh, by the way, you guys know the community grant application is due the 28th, correct? Okay, all right, yeah. But yeah, just helping them out with that, because right now it's currently only for third grade students. And I think it could do a
Second, I think.
second. Oh, I'm sorry. Second. Yeah, it could do a lot of help. Expanding that. So just on that note, how do you were mentioning like tracking the progress of those students? Is that something that is done in coordination with the school and maybe third-party programs that assist on Hocker properties, or is that just done solely by your staff?
I-
okay.
Correct.
Oh wow. Okay. Cool. You do that all by yourself?
She's an educator.
Oh, okay. Okay. Cool. Awesome.
We also have new staff that are master's level educators as well that we hired for our new curriculum program.
What age is this from
first grade
to
through
12.
12th.
through 12?
Yes.
So let me clarify. So we have a 6 to 12 after school program, but then we are also incorporating a middle and high school program that will run out of Harbor House, Eastport, as well as Robinwood.
Okay, now that's huge.
Yes.
And I think that could, and I mean, if we could nail down on that, I mean, I think that's the focus of, 6 to 12, I think that they're out during the school year by 6 o'clock, the latest, from leaving out of the rec center to go home.
They have dinner, I think 5:30, and I think open gym. The gym is open during the week until 8 o'clock.
Okay, cool. And so if there was a way to, use that space and that additional time to nail down on the programs that deal with 12 and over, the teens. I mean, is that something that you guys have?
Yeah, so we actually hired 2 educators for that population. Their roles are educational and athletic specialists, and they were specifically hired to work with middle and high school students. We have a kickoff event on Saturday for this Saturday from 12 to 3 at Robinwood, and we are going to have, what's it called, Knickerball? It's a Knickerball event. Do you know what Knickerball
No.
is? It's like a big bubble, and you can get inside the
yes,
bubble.
where you run into the
Yeah.
people. Yeah.
So this is our kickoff event for middle and high school students, and we're going to just give them an overview of the program and what we have to offer. We're going to do writing. We have a core curriculum set for them. We're going to do PSAT and I was getting ready to say LSAT and SAT classwork. So it's a new program we're building, but we understand the need. We also are really going to focus on pre-college as well.
So
Wow. I was trying to, I have Bloomsbury Square in my ward, so I was talking to Jackie Wells about how we can get incentive for kids to go to a community college, and I was brainstorming about offering a scholarship of some sort, just for school supplies. But it was brought up last night at the meeting that is a really vulnerable age about, it's a fork in the road. I mean, it's a huge fork in the road.
It is.
And just the fact that the kids are there is probably, that's an accomplishment, So
Our staff has really been able to bond with the middle and high school students. They are young themselves, but they're college graduates, and they have been able to really, as Sarah mentioned before, meet these children exactly where they are. It's a matter of kids just really not even going to school now. And just coming to the after-school program because, they want that attention. They want to work one-on-one with our staff. They don't want to go to school because they're below grade level and they don't want to be embarrassed in class. They're not getting that one-on-one attention at school, but they get it in our program. And our hopes are to build these kids up self-esteem, grades, so they will want to go back to school.
So the objective there is to go to school. What about skills, skill sets for working?
So again, because it's a new program, we're meeting them where we are. I would say long-term range goals are looking at providing internships for them and also talking to them about trade. We want to be able to have an active participation with our community partners and coming in on the weekends, doing workshops with the children. I mean, we have a whole vision for this program because we understand the need is there.
Does the program have a name?
No, well, you know what? No, we don't really have a name. That's a good point. Maybe we need to come up with a name.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, so how do you differentiate, this program and what you hope to get from this and the programs in the past or the programs that may continue on but have separate objectives from?
Well, so it's my understanding we've never really had structured programs at HACA. I mean, they've had an after-school program, but it wasn't anything really substantial. It was more so volunteers coming in, helping the children with homework. We really didn't have the staff that had the skill set that could provide the services for the children. And that's what I decided to do, was to just revamp and give the whole program a facelift.
Are you new, Bridget?
Huh?
Are you new?
I started in July 2018.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
Is it all in-house funding, or do you have any grants, or?
It's all in-house funding, yes. Let me mention this. We got a grant with Connect USA, which is a grant from HUD that provides digital divide for low-income families. So we have 40 new T-Mobile tablets that we will roll out to our after-school program.
Wow, thank you, HUD. HUD came through.
Yeah,
Woo!
finally, right?
So these tablets will be used in addition to the curriculum that they are getting from the staff. So this is kind of like, it's helping them to build their skills. We have downloaded specific academic programs to be able to help integrate into our program.
And on that note, what do you know the progress or the status by any chance of the Comcast partnership? I talked previously. I'm not sure.
BG&E? Was it BG&E?
It may be, but there was a contract.
With the Internet Essentials?
Yeah, for the internet and also for the. They were redoing the computer lab at the Eastport Rec Center. Is that still a? So
those computers, we've had new computers there for maybe at least 6 months. With this grant, we will also be able to partner with other providers to, help bridge that digital divide. And so one of the things that we are going to look at is providing Wi-Fi for all of our communities.
Yeah. So, just based off of outside of the funding issues that, HACA has, it seems like you are putting in place or starting to put in place programs that could potentially help students and families. why is there an issue with, you know, a disconnect in getting that to both the general public and to the residents of Haka to make sure that they are aware of like these programs, or aware that we have 40 new T-Mobile tablets that their children could be, you know, taking access of, or these new programs that you guys have?
Well, I
rolling out?
mean, the tablets, I mean, we just got the grant September. We just got the tablets, what, 2 weeks ago? So
So that's very, very new.
it's all of this is very new. I mean, we didn't even start the new curriculum program until September this year. Even though I started in July 2018, I needed time to figure out what the needs were going to be for the community. And so I took that time. I talked to residents, I talked to children, I talked to staff, what's working, what's not working, and that's how I came up with just revamping the program totally.
Would Haka be open to find or to looking into a report on the issues that are taking place on the Haka properties as a whole, so that we as counselors and elected officials on the state level as well can have a better understanding of what exactly resources we need to be looking for or to bring to the table? So maybe if there is a report, example, Sarah, I think you mentioned earlier that you've been working on the academic side of that, and say, here we are, these are the numbers for Haka. Here's our progress in reading. Here's our progress in math. Here's where we fell short, or where we think that we need to,
Yeah, so one of the reasons why we started doing the tracking is because we know that that's information we can build on to be able to get grants. None of that was being done before. So Sarah, like she mentioned, she has been tracking the students. We have a record of it. Grade levels, I mean, they've come in, what, D's and E's?
When I first started, they were coming in with D's and E's. And from the last report cards that I saw, we have moved to C's. We have them doing B's in math and reading. And that's a long, ways that they have come in such short time, because we engage them in reading. It's mandatory for them each day when they come into the center to read at least 20 minutes and do 10 minutes of journaling. And we also have an adult read out loud to them so they can hear how reading should be done from an adult.
Where do you get your resources, like the books and?
We have a great amount of books that I met there.
Yeah.
And I built a library with. We have the library. I tried to go online to put these books according to grade level and reading level. And those books have just been sitting there at the center until I got there in July. And it was one of my biggest projects.
Yeah.
I worked on it from July until middle of October to get that structured so that children don't just go pick a book. I encourage them to pick books that is within their reading level.
Yeah.
That way they don't struggle, they don't shy away from reading, they can understand what they're reading. And I also encourage those who are not reading, say for instance, a child who's in 3rd grade should be reading at level N, and he's not reading at level N and he's reading at 2nd grade level. I try to coerce them gently to go get books that there's nothing to be ashamed of. Try to read those books.
Yeah.
When you master reading those books, then we can move you on to the books that are more challenging for your brain, for your mind, and it just helps you to improve.
Yeah.
You while we're talking about education, we talked about it last night, and it was at the last Annapolis Education Commission meeting. The attendance has significantly dropped for Eastport Elementary students because they have to obviously walk the half a mile in this cold weather. Has there been any coordination problem from Haka to use the vehicles that they have on the property to take those students to Eastport Elementary?
That's not something that we discussed for Haka to do. We are in talks with the city to try to get transportation for those kids.
And how can we? I'll just follow up with you on that. Then maybe coordinate a meeting with you, myself, and Archie, our trader who does Parks and Recs, to see if we can get a hold of maybe the vehicles and vans that they have, or even with Rick Gordon, correct, for
Yeah.
director. Okay, yeah. So I'll put that in. Yeah, for the Annapolis Education Commission.
Jessica's email about what they need. Yeah, it was about transportation and just, yeah, that's important.
Yeah.
There is the Eastport Working Together group that is their primary objective.
For the transportation.
Yes, at the last meeting, they made that their hallmark objective. And what it's my understanding they were thinking of is attempting to pressure the board of Anne Arundel County Public Schools into providing those buses and their
They met and came out with a Annapolis Education Commission met and
this was
crafted
February 3rd.
Crafted a resolution, and I'm thinking that's something that the city should.
Well, first we could have to accept it as a resolution.
Yeah, we
amongst
would have
ourselves.
to accept it. I think
Or maybe on the 24th at our last meeting.
Yeah.
Another question while we're on the education topic. Have you guys thought about, I know that they do pop-up sometime, clinics, but have you thought about having a full-time mental health specialist on the property for children? I know you mentioned journaling, which is really, really good for, mental health, just working through that process. Do you read the journals by any chance?
Sometimes I do, because
And you realize, do you get like an intimate
Signals.
with some children, yes, and not just from the journals. I remember we did a unit on poetry writing, and a lot of some of the kids actually wrote down things that were to me disturbing. One was published in the newsletter, though, it was his poem, he wrote it, and you would see them writing what they feel and the way they see themselves in those their journals, the poems that they wrote. And we have discussed at some point that we needed to get training to help us help these children in terms of these issues that we see arising.
And to your question also, our new component of resident services involves case management, which Mary Ellen and Sarah are basically our case managers. And the primary reason why we decided to open our services was because obviously there is a need. There's a need from the parents, there's a need for the children. And so we really want to be able to understand the dynamics of our families. Because Sarah has been working with the children, she knows already some of the children that are struggling, where if they're struggling now, they're coming to school disheveled, there are issues with hygiene, then we already know something's going on with the family.
Yeah.
And so we will work with these families when we really roll out case management. They're currently working with relocation at Newtown, so that's a priority right now. But the goal is to roll out the services for all of the Hacker residents. And once we really get an idea of what's happening with the families, we want to be able to do referral services. Of course, they would have to give consent for that, but we know that there are very deep issues in a lot of the households. And those services really have, not been met for the families, because a lot of the families don't take it upon themselves to seek help.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's that's all what we talked about last night, just the vulnerable age. And
so consistent, literally with what everything that was mentioned. Do you have any more questions in regards to?
Well, the budget is coming up. Did Melissa, the way it works is, Melissa would probably formalize her budget requests, enhancements they're called. Have you relayed any of those needs to her? So
As far as
funding.
funding for,
for any of your programs?
Yeah.
not specifically. I mean, I think that the funding that we have right now it does cover what we are able to provide. If we look at maybe doing some more, putting in some more resources, but because case management is new, we really need to find out what the problems are before we look at, hiring more staff to serve.
What I'm learning, or I guess the impression I'm getting, is that with HUD, it's sort of like who's got the squeakiest wheel. I mean, when I've seen their allocations nationally, it's anyway. So, how do you get the most? I mean, HUD will advocate for Head Start programs and all that kind of stuff. How do you get grant money from them that's separate from what they give the the property?
Well, so we have 2 grants right now that specifically work with our residents, the Family Self-Sufficiency and then the Ross grant. Those are 2 HUD-funded grants.
Okay, so you're on it. You're on top of it. Yeah, that's great. That's what I was, because I know there are HUD grants. Okay.
You said it was the Ross grant?
Ross grant, yes.
That sounds so familiar. I feel like I've heard that before. Ross. I just want to write that down. I just have 2 more quick questions. What is your average your average yearly budget? Like, how much do they give you to use towards?
That's a figure I don't have off the top of my head.
When it comes to the Ross grant, there is no funding from the Ross grant for programs, just to be specific.
Oh, really?
That's for staff, correct?
The program is for staff salary and things and training. There's an admin fee off the top that goes to the agency who is doing the admin for it. There is no funding, so we rely on our great community partners, of which we have many, to bring in programs. But there is no funding to pay for services.
Would you be able to find out if there was a request for a grant writer in the HACA's budget, in their request to us?
Okay, could you repeat your question to find out what?
Yeah, if they, are you guys requesting the funding for a grant writer for the upcoming fiscal year?
Okay, for the block grant? Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
And we covered, I think, the children pretty much. If you guys just briefly, I know I thought it was actually 447. The programs that we have geared toward adults in terms of second chance career opportunities, rehabilitative services, maybe stuff like that.
You want to talk about Ross?
Yeah. Well, the Ross has areas there are 4 main areas with Ross of financial, education, employment, and health. And so as the Ross Service Coordinator, we try to hit on all of those areas. HUD allows for concentration of certain areas. And in our new grant, which we hope to receive, just FYI, the grant that we're currently working should have ended January 31st, but HUD has not put out the awards yet. So they extended those grants for 2 months.
Okay.
Hopefully, any time now, the awards will come out. And in our new grant writing, we focus on employment and education. And one of the things I found, we created last year a new initiative, and we're due hopefully to have our 3rd training. We brought the Sherwin-Williams Company in to do paint class training for 1 week. They fly people in, all sorts of resources and everything. In that is a full day for repair, restore, and paint RRP certification, which is a license. They have an exam at the end of the day. Almost all of our participants do pass this exam at the end of the day, and they have an actual license to operate for it has to do with lead paint, but they don't call it lead paint. They call it RRP. It's changed. For 5 years. Now, what I found out, we had 7 residents participate in the last one. And of those 7, 2 2 Harbor House residents found employment shortly after that they, and this is so important, that they have sustained.
Wow.
One of them, and I have her card always on my desk, because on a bad day, you want to look down and see her business card. She has established her own painting business.
Wow.
With her own business cards, etc. Another has taken another type of job, but what that she is doing extremely well. So what I'm finding is, if people participate in what I call structured training programs, it's really a professional. They fly people in to teach this program for 5 days. You cannot miss. You miss and you're out. That kind of thing. That most of our residents do very well, and then it encourages the success of that onto finding, sustaining other types of employment. We also have other people we let take that, because we have to have pretty big numbers for that. Up to 20, but they don't want to do it with less than 10 people. Mm-hmm. If you start with 30 on your wait list, you may have 20 or 15 there the first day. It just works that way. So it sort of comes down this way. So, but we have found that to be successful, very successful. And we do that right there at the Eastport Community Center. We've had people.
Did you touch upon the other areas?
Yes. We've had people also in terms of training, CNA, GNA, certified nursing, geriatric nursing. We've had that graduate, because we've also had some transportation assistance for those programs. Education, we have literacy, Anne Arundel County Literacy Council, which comes to our center to tutor individually. Any of our residents can participate there. We have currently 2 residents participating, but we've had as many as 4. Also, we have people participating in ABS, Adult Basic Skills, and GED. Part of an issue has been, over the years that we've done TABE testing at the center, is this: people throw out, oh, we need GED classes. They throw out that term. Well, GED classes, you have to qualify through testing, through the Anne Arundel Community College to take GED level. Many of our residents, not all, some do test at GED high school level, but many have tested more like middle school levels. So they're directed toward ABS, Adult Basic Skills classes. So what you want there is for them to commit long enough, regularly, to work their way up to then the high school and then the GED exam. I've had some that have gone through external diploma through Anne Arundel County public schools and have gotten their high school diploma or GED. Some, after a period of time, thread out a little bit, might come back to it, might not. With health, we have a strong partnership with the Anne Arundel Medical Center.
Oh, wow, yeah.
And they come once a month. They were coming twice a month, but at Bates and Eastport, they come once a month for 2 hours. They do, nurse comes, does blood pressure, medical consultation, all free. Medical consultation, that kind of thing. And every few months they come in, the Cancer Prevention Institute, et cetera, does programs. They do, the last one had to do with lung diseases. We've had kidney health, all sorts of, over the years, mental health, I think also an important one, cardiovascular, diabetes, a whole range that we have people come in to do those.
So do they see that person, I'm just trying to look for role models, people coming in and they have a job. Do you have people come in and talk about their profession, something achievable for them?
If you're back to jobs, yes, when we have the CNA, GNA screening sessions at Eastport, they bring in people who have successfully taken the CNA, GNA locally.
Yeah.
Because a lot of our residents knew that person, even though that person happened to live down the street in another community, but knew and was very effective in talking about real issues and the toughness of it. And when you hit those walls and how everyone worked as a team to pull each other through, was very effective, very effective.
Yeah.
And then financial. Now, I channel a lot of my people who are looking to be homeowners and financial through the FSS. We have a very capable employee who has been working the Family Self-Sufficiency Grant. She's getting ready to have a homeownership. We channel our participants, and just anyone can go. I think Saturday, March 7th, she's going to have one 10 to 2 at the Stanton Center. And she brings in people to discuss budget, credit. Credit is a big issue to get past with home ownership.
March the 7th?
Yeah,
believe so.
March the 7th, I'll email you a flyer.
Okay.
Yes,
awesome.
10 to 2 at the Stanton Center. We've got voter registration coming for that one. It's her program, but I'm adding an Action Annapolis. This is a big election year.
Yeah.
We want people to engage in civic affairs as well. We've got voter registration coming, and
How about the census? I think I've heard there's opportunities to get involved with the census.
Yeah, I think they just had a job fair for the census at Stanton Center a couple weeks ago. We did advertise that in our newsletter, and we had it on our Facebook page as well.
And I know some residents of ours get jobs there because the last census I failed to send mine in. And at my door one Saturday morning was one of my residents saying, "Oh, I had no idea you lived here," to take my census. And she was working for the Census Bureau for the summer. So those are great jobs.
Is your medium better? It's Facebook, not your website so much for your events, and you have
Yes, we have a
events on-
Facebook page now.
Yeah. Okay, and that's Taka. Ooh, I don't.
I'll
I can
find
start.
out. I don't know it by heart.
Okay, it should show up in a search.
And there are also a lot of opportunities that appear in our newsletter,
Yeah.
monthly newsletter as well.
Well, this is kind of real time. I was I'm not being rude. This email caught my eye because it came out subject job opportunity. So I'm like reading it, and so I'm like, that's a perfect disconnect because the city sends it out to the world, and the job opportunity it's Department of Rec. It's the front desk pool, probably the new pool. And yeah, the new pool will need more people. It's just the snack bar attendant and the front desk. And that's a perfect opportunity to at least target it to,
Young kids.
city residents instead of sending it out to.
I didn't see this
When
particular.
did that come out?
Today.
I may have it. Usually, older woman.
Do you get
Rhonda
them?
Pindell Charles sends most of that out.
Okay.
and we make
I
sure
just
we.
sent it to her.
If you go to
Yes,
the
it'll come out, and
Okay, so there's not a disconnect.
if you
other
go-
types of city employment also. We do have people that are college graduates living on our properties. We put everything out.
Oh, good.
Everything out.
The city, if you go to the city website at the top, I think it's like Civil Service or something like that. They'll send you that email like daily, just like, hey, these are the new jobs. And she
Yeah, you can
updates
sign
it
up
like
for
every day.
that.
It's a new job. I feel like every day somebody's
We
leaving.
get inundated with email. Yeah.
Great. Do you have any?
No, I'm good. I'm really excited about what you do. Congratulations. It's really good work.
Appreciate it very much, the time and effort that you guys put into attending today. And we'll definitely, obviously, be in contact throughout the entire process, making sure that you guys get the support you need from the city. So thank you very, very much for that.
Okay,
thank
you're
you.
welcome. Thanks for
Thanks
having
for
us.
coming in. Do we have we don't have a nominee? Nothing? I thought we
It was pulled. I pulled it. Yeah. It was late, I think. Yeah, she put it in for Wednesday. So it'll be at our next one.
Okay. Oh, are you in the Hillman garage? Oh, you are, yeah. Yeah, we're gonna get you
Parking.
vouchers for,
Right out here?
Yeah, right there. Yeah.
Right here?
we're
So
done.
we can adjourn. Yeah. I think,
I motion that we adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Favor. Aye.
Hey.